I have had to let people go. I've had to say goodbye to my pets. Vlogumentary Week 1 is one of the most vulnerable and honest sides of me I've ever shown you. Saying things I probably shouldn't, but isn't that the point? And so I feel like after all these years, I've had so much of a selfish underlying motive that it's just distanced me from the purpose that I really want to give.
Yeah, no, I had these ones and I was gonna sell them, but I'm like, hey, I mean, like, you know, I knew you guys had a big pond. I knew you guys wanted some, and I was like, okay, well, if they get some small ones, you know, it's gonna fill it up, but who's someone I know that has a big enough pond that I'd probably want them. Time to say goodbye.
My first day at work was their pond and finishing it up, putting all the finishing touches on it and filling it up with water, seeing it run. That was my very first day, and I came back and did some more filming later, and they were just super nice people, and I got some sort of connection to them now.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you for this.
Yeah, no problem.
So I knew I just couldn't be selfish keeping these fish, all 5 of them, in just my, 1,000-gallon pond, which is good enough for a few fish, but the amount that I had, I knew I had too much.
How pretty. Wow.
Yeah, they're all saying that.
And when you have too much is when you can either decide to be more selfish and keep it all for yourself and hurt potentially the fish and not give them the right home that they needed, or you can decide to take the more humble position and give away, let go what you valued so much.
Oh, it's a giant.
Oh.
But don't hurt yourself.
So as much joy as that brought me, the previous day of that time, we had something pretty tragic happen. All of my turtles were killed. We didn't know at the time, but eventually we put a camera out there and see if it happened to be an animal, would come back. It did. It was a raccoon. But all I could think about was just them seeing that animal go in the pond, going up to him, taking their small lives in his hand and just crushed them. But it also gave me a new idea for a new build I want to do this summer. Because if I had spent $500 and got like 10 more turtles in there, they'd all be gone too. So I had to learn somehow that everything given can be taken. I used to have, a few months ago, I was having a great connection with God. I was reading every day, praying every day, but it distanced. And that was when I was doing my best. But more recently, that's faded. And I think it's just like a friendship. If your friend moves, or even if you just stop talking to them, you're gonna lose the same connection you had. It's gonna weaken. It may not be gone, but it's gonna weaken. And it's the same thing that can happen when you're trying to talk to God. Keep reaching out. He's not gonna move halfway across the country. He's not gonna move 2,000 miles away. He's always going to be there. But if you stop reaching out, you are going to feel like he's not there, like he never answers you, like he left you. But the fact is you left him. And so I'm trying to bring my connection back with God, to make sure that I'm doing the right thing and for the right purpose. And the reason of this whole thing is because I wanted to make a little video on sometimes you have to let go. Whether it was in your control to let it go or whether it wasn't. I let the koi fish go. It was better for them, probably better for me. Now I don't get to see them as much, but I know they're enjoying their life so much more because they look so much happier in that pond than something I could give them. The turtles were taken against our will, and all I could think about is, I might be overthinking it, but how I would think if that happened to me was how scared. If that's even in the turtle sense, but I would be so scared. But I recently made the hardest decision I've made ever. I had to let go of the person I cared about the most. I can't talk about this in depth, but there was someone I cared so much about that I hurt. And the fact that that happened, things weren't the same. And so we're all young. And if we kept going how we were going, I don't think things would have changed. But I had to say goodbye. Temporarily, maybe. How can they or myself achieve what they want in life and get past what happened if your guys' situation doesn't change at all? If you kind of went on the same way you were going, but it doesn't feel the same. I don't know if that made sense. But sometimes you do have to temporarily let go to let the other person figure themselves out. But then realize that for you to focus on yourself might be a little selfish, but if you know in your mind that it probably is going to be the best option and decision for you to grow and to mature slightly, that you might just have to let something go. It may not be forever, but sometimes you have to make that decision. I'm gonna leave it at that.
You say that you love me, don't know if it's still true. Hate it when you're not here, love it when I'm with you. You say you don't trust me, all the shit we've been through. Why you always upset?